This video contains major spoilers for Baldur's Gate 3. Viewer discretion is advised. Baldur's Gate 3 is a complex game with several different endings and several different companions that you can gain within your adventure. Although, one of them has stolen the hearts of the internet and the fandom alike.
Hello, I'm Gale of Waterdeep.
No, not you. You get out of here. I'm talking about everyone's favorite pale elf, Astarion. Astarion is one of the many companions you can pick up along your journey, a rogue who is nothing but distrust hidden behind charm and smiles. Now, why is everyone obsessed with him? Well, as I said before, he is a rather charming character, but a lot of people are just in love with his character and his story. Now, to understand him as a character, we are going to have to talk about some events in the story that are pretty big spoilers. So if you're worried about that, this is your final warning. As you find out after a bit of time playing, Astarion is a vampire. Or rather, a vampire spawn. The difference is that a vampire spawn is a slave to the one who turned them, without the ability to leave. Astarion is able to break free of that because of the parasite that is planted into all of your skulls. The fact of the matter is that he hides he's a vampire spawn to you until he either tries to bite you, or you progress enough in the story that he tells you. Also, you have the chance to be able to stab him, and that just breaks my heart. Like, why would you stab him? Like, it's just so mean. Eventually, if you get your relationship high enough, he offers you to have a night of intimacy with him. However, if you end up romancing him, you end up learning this was simply to secure him a place on the team. He needed you guys to survive, and if he were to have you manipulated towards him, then all the better. This itself is sad to me because he is so unsure of his safety on the team that he feels the need to secure himself a spot on the team just to feel safe. He doesn't trust anyone and is focused on his own survival. If you end up romancing him, that morning you wake up to him basking in the sun, a vampire spawn taking in the warmth that he hasn't been able to feel in so long. You can then see the scars on his back, which is interesting to me, because yes, you did have a night together, but I find it odd to see how he is showing it off in this scene. He wants you to see it. He wants you to mention it. To him, this is him beginning to be a little more emotionally open with you, even though his head is still in the plane of manipulation. But the fact that he's showing you such a personal thing, it just feels like he's opening up at least a little bit. Now, I'm not going to lie, I don't remember what he does if you're not romancing him because I romance him so much. But hey, listen, I'm sure he still tells you, alright? Don't judge me. He then tells you about Cazador, who is the vampire lord who enslaved him. He's his master, and he's the one who carved those scars into his back. Cazador treated his spawn like shit, and Astarion only got out because of the Mind Flayer's invasion. Astarion is obsessed with Cazador. He says that he holds no power over him anymore, but he spends the entire game and his entire waking moments fearing what he could do to him. And if I can remember correctly, I haven't played through Astarion's campaign, but I'm pretty sure it takes up his meditation moments as well. And he hates him for what he's done, and he craves revenge more than anything. He's obsessed with the thought of vengeance, because nothing could be better than harming those who have harmed you. Right? That will have to fix it. Right? Astarion soon learns that his scars are a pact between Cazador and a devil, if I remember correctly, a piece of a ritual that would allow Cazador to ascend to a point of godhood in a sense. Once Astarion learns this, he becomes obsessed with the idea of that power becoming his own. Would he have to sacrifice a few people? Sure, but doesn't he deserve this power after being a slave for so long? That's something I want to pause on quickly. I find this part of the game so interesting because Astarion is seeing nothing but red. He wants vengeance. He wants power so he can never be hurt again. But I've thought about this a lot, I'm not going to lie. Going through with this ritual and ascending would make him no different than Cazador, the one he's been obsessed with taking down, the one he swears is the most evil person to exist, and it doesn't sit right with me. I think that he's just too caught up in the idea of blood to realize that doing this would be going down the same path as Cazador. It would make him the Cazador to someone else. I personally have not gotten the Ascended Astarion ending yet. That's partially because I know what happens and it just breaks my heart and I'm stalling and... yeah. If you choose to help Astarion ascend, he changes. He becomes someone else. He treats you like you are beneath him, as if he owns you. Like a pet. It's heartbreaking because it's an immediate change too. I can see someone genuinely trying to help their love out, and then he starts treating them like that. Like a slave. And I think that would make me so sad if I had gone down that route, and I'm really, really glad I didn't. Because the ascension changes him in a way where he's hardly recognizable personality-wise, to the point where it honestly makes me sad to think about. However, there is another option where you can talk him out of it. Personally, I believe this option is much better. He treats you with respect still, and he still feels like himself afterwards. It's just so much more gratifying, especially if you were romancing him. Though I'm not going to lie, I have only played through this section with him romanced, so I'm not entirely sure how it changes otherwise. Anyway, the reason I want to bring these two endings up is because I think it's important. It's important because Astarion's arc shows how a person can change based on how they are treated, how their peers around them handle their feelings and emotions. When cared for and supported without allowing him to make rash decisions, Astarion learns that you were just looking out for him. Although he may not have the power he so desperately desired, he has his humanity. Elfity? Vampirity? You get it. However, if you allow him to run with his ideas of power and bloodshed, it turns him into someone unrecognizable. Someone who isn't the same person you were with seconds ago. Because power changes people, and vengeance and bloodshed empower that desire. It's sad, but it's the sad truth. Astarion is so complex because he's confused, scared, and angry. He doesn't know what to do with all of these emotions, so he bottles them up, allowing them to brew into a cauldron of hatred bubbling beneath his skin. And the sad thing is, he's such a sweetheart hidden beneath all the hatred and distrust. At least as the story progresses. Although he is prone to violence and selfishness near the beginning of the game, once you get to Act 3, he starts approving of things that are kinder. He approves of things such as you allowing Yenna to stay at your camp. Was it Yenna? I don't remember. And other small things that just made me beam. My script says bean. And other things that just made me beam when I saw him approve of them. Astarion is one of my favorite characters in the game, which is hard to say because I like a lot of them, and hope to be able to play runs romancing them as well. However, this pale elf will always have a place in my heart. Thank you, Larian. Thank you, Larian. Thank you, Larian, for giving us this character. And thank you, Neil, for doing such a fantastic job bringing this character to life. Astarion will always be the little star of Baldur's Gate 3 to me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know it's been a while since the last video again. I am trying to keep my motivation up, but I appreciate you all staying with me, and with that being said, I hope you all have a wonderful night, and as always, I will see you all next time.